In 1839, Robert Smalls is born a slave behind this house in Beaufort, South Carolina. At 12 years of age, he is sent to Charleston, South Carolina to hire out as a laborer. For every $15 he makes, he gets to keep $1, and he sends the remainder to his owner. His various jobs include being a shoeshine boy, a hotel bellhop, and a lamplighter. When he is 15 years old, he acquires work on the city docks, and he becomes a crewman on the CSS Planter, a Confederate gunship that is used to transport supplies. He works on the ship as a rigger and sailmaker before becoming a wheelman whose job is to pilot the ship. He cannot have the title of pilot because he is a slave. In this job, he becomes very knowledgeable about the Charleston harbor. When he is 17 years of age, he marries an enslaved hotel maid named Hannah Jones. She is 5 years older than him and already has 2 daughters. They have a daughter together and a son who dies at 2 years of age. The American Civil War begins in April of 1861 with the bombardment of Fort Sumter in the Charleston harbor. In the fall of 1861, Smalls is assigned to pilot the CSS Planter to deliver dispatches, troops, and supplies. He also is assigned to survey the waterways and to lay mines. Accomplishing these tasks enables him to gain the confidence of the ship's captain. Smalls' burning desire is to become a free man. He needs $800 to buy his freedom, but getting that much money is beyond the realm of possibility for him. His only option is to escape to the north. He discusses his escape plan with all the other slaves on board the ship, with the exception of one that he doesn't trust. He tells his wife about the plan and explains to her that they might be killed if caught. Regardless, she tells him that she wants to escape with their children and him. On May the 12th, 1862, he is ordered to sail to Coal Island, where he's to pick up 4 large guns to transfer to a fort in the Charleston harbor. On his return to Charleston, he stops to pick up 200 pounds of ammunition and 20 cords of firewood. Later, while docked in town, all the officers aboard the ship leave to spend the night ashore. In the darkness, Robert Smalls has the crew of slaves fire up the ship's boilers and head up the Cooper River to pick up his family. After his family boards the ship, they have a total of 16 men, women, and children, all desperate for freedom. Smalls is hoping that the ship's movement away from Charleston will not seem unusual and that they can safely make the journey to the open ocean. He puts on the skipper's jacket, raises the Confederate flag, and heads out toward the ocean. Their first dangerous encounter is at Fort Johnson. He holds his breath and signals the fort, requesting safe passage. To his relief, they are signaled to pass through. The next bigger hurdle is getting past Fort Sumter and its 5 gun batteries. Approaching the fort, Smalls adjusts the skipper's hat low on his head and walks out on the deck by the pilot house. He stands on the deck with his face obscured by the hat and his arms crossed, just as he had observed the captain doing. He orders a crew member to signal the fort, requesting safe passage. Holding their breaths, they wait for the return signal, but none appears. They would be an easy target for the cannons of the fort, but returning to Charleston is not an option at this point. Smalls tells his shipmate to send the signal again. Finally, the Fort Sumter guard signals an okay for them to pass. Once outside of the cannon's range of the fort, they lower the Confederate flag and raise a white bedsheet. A fog has rolled in, making their improvised flag difficult to see. They continue to steam toward the Union vessel and soon realize that their white flag has not been seen by the Union vessel's crew. The captain of the Union ship orders them to come alongside, but they cannot hear that order, and they start to go around the stern of the Union ship. The captain yells, "Stop, or I will blow you out of the water." Hearing that warning, they change direction and sail alongside the Union ship. "Good morning, sir. I brought you some of the old United States guns, sir, that were for Fort Sumter, sir." Smalls later passes on valuable information about the harbor, locations of mines, and number of troops still there. This information allows the Union to capture Coal Island without a fight, and they keep it as a base of operations for the duration of the war. Immediately following the war, Smalls returns to Beaufort, South Carolina, where he purchases his former master's house. He allows the wife of his former master, the elderly Jane Bond McKee, to move into the house and live there until her death. He spends 9 months learning to read and write. He purchases a 2-story building to use as a school for African American children. In 1874, Smalls is elected to the United States House of Representatives, where he serves 2 terms.